What's up, guys? This is CJ and Sarah from CJ's Keto Kitchen. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto Conversations. Hey, we got that kind of down. Well, we need to keep working on that. So let's get this started. So we're back with... What are we back with?
Some more myths to debunk.
Some more what?
Myths. Myths.
Is that how you say it?
Myths.
Myths.
Okay. Myths.
Keto myths to debunk. So we started this series last week, and actually, when you get this video, Sarah and I will be in Yachats, Oregon, and we actually did say that right.
It's spelled Yachats, Yachats, but it's pronounced Yachats.
Yachats.
All these Indian names the Pacific Northwest.
So when your video gets published next week, we will be in Yachats, Oregon.
Seeing some natural wonders.
Yep, doing some things, and we're probably going to do some vlogging while we're there, so you can kind of see.
You may have already seen that if it goes up before this video does, because it might go up on Sunday. No, it won't. No, it won't. Okay. I'm too far ahead.
Yeah. All right. Well,
anyway, back to the myths.
All right. Yeah, back to the keto myths. So the first one we wanted to talk about this week is number one, and these are not in any particular order, but the number one, another keto myth is that keto is a high-fat, high-protein diet. And so we want to talk about that.
And that is a myth because the ketogenic diet is a moderate protein diet. Meaning that it's only about 20 to 25% of your diet is consisting of protein. The rest of it, 75% of it, is supposed to be from fat and 5% from carbs.
Right.
But how much protein that you have in your diet is completely personalized because it's based on your body weight, your lean body mass, and also how protein makes you feel. If you're the type of person who does better on lower protein, because excess protein can turn into glucose, sugar, just like carbs. So it has to be completely dependent on your personal needs.
Mm-hmm. But a general guideline is 75% from fat,
right?
20 to 25%
from the protein.
From protein,
and then only 5% from carbs.
And even some people even do less.
Yeah, they do. It's
carbs.
Generally 20 grams or less, but some people do no carbs.
And please note that we said we're talking percentages, not grams.
Not grams.
Yeah, so we said percentages.
Yes, and it's completely individual.
Yeah, but those are just some general guidelines.
Yeah, and you might not even meet those protein guidelines, especially if you do 1 meal a day or something like that. So it's an up to thing. You don't necessarily have to eat like right on that amount, and some days maybe you will, some days maybe you won't. That's the thing about.
Well, some days you're gonna go over.
Yeah,
some days you might go over.
If you are using the ketogenic diet as a lifestyle, it has to be fluid. You have to, it can't. Don't make yourself crazy trying to stick to just X amount.
What I've found is the keto can be pretty forgiving and pretty flexible for people, where people kind of do maybe some higher carb days, and I'm not saying you should do this, but I watch videos all the time where people may have, for whatever life reason, have had some higher carbs on one day. Yeah. And they're doing these weigh-ins, and wow, they still have lost weight.
Or they still stay in ketosis.
Or they still stay in ketosis. Yeah. So, again, the myth is that keto is a high-fat, high-protein diet, and it is not. It is a high-fat diet.
Right. Now, speaking of fat, our second myth that we're going to be talking about is that you can eat any kind of fat on the ketogenic diet. And that's not necessarily true. All of us, even if you're not following a ketogenic diet, should really try and stay away from trans fats, because those are just bad for you.
So what's got trans fats?
Things like cottonseed oil, soybean oil, canola oil, things that don't come from an actual, like if you think about a soybean, trying to squeeze oil from something like that, and the process, if you ever watched what the process takes, because then they have to deodorize it and bleach it, do all kinds of things like olives and coconuts. It's a large product, and you can actually squeeze oil from it, and then that is cold pressed, so nothing yucky is done to it after that. So those are the types of oils that really everyone should be trying to keep in their diet, not just people who are on the ketogenic
And
diet.
So the myth that you can eat any kind of fat is
not really true.
It's not true.
I mean, it's going to be difficult to find products sometimes that don't contain those ingredients, but it should not make up the majority of your diet.
Right.
And there's always a lot of talk with the ketogenic diet as far as, oh, well, you shouldn't eat processed meats, or, you should do everything grass-fed and free range and cage-free, and that's great. Absolutely. If you can do that, you can work towards that, that's wonderful. But just eating meat, eggs, and trying to get what you need on the ketogenic diet is still way better than eating the standard American diet. So if you can work up to getting those things, but don't think that you have to have all of that right off the bat. Like if you're first starting the ketogenic diet, don't go out and hurt yourself buying grass-fed everything. That's not what it's not what this is about.
Right. You don't need to kill yourself financially just because
Exactly.
you think that you got to have grass-fed or all organic.
No.
Hell, we don't. So
No. I mean,
in
if
fact,
we
never
can
have.
find it, if I can find it, sometimes I'm able to find grass-fed beef and everything really inexpensive. If you've got neighbors or friends that have their own chickens, or those kind of things,
that's great.
But don't hurt yourself financially or mentally thinking that you need to have all of these things before you can get started on this lifestyle.
Because it'll work without.
In fact, they've done studies. There have been doctors that have done studies, and they have spoken at these low-carb conferences just like a month ago, talking about people who have been successful on the ketogenic diet eating a strictly fast food diet, like going to McDonald's every day and eating all their keto foods there, just throwing away the buns. It's not ideal. We're not saying that's the way you should do it.
The ideal way to do it, but you can do it.
You can do it. Just get started. It's more important that you get started and you do the ketogenic diet than try and do it perfectly, especially right off the bat. All of us want to work towards making all of our foods be as healthy as possible, but don't let that stop you.
That's true. And I can think back over when we first started.
Yeah.
I mean, our diet has evolved.
Yeah, you change, you learn, you grow, you figure out what maybe is better, and you like it better, it tastes better, it sits better in your stomach, all of these things.
And, there's some things that when we first started that we don't even eat now.
Yeah, like you were talking about how you used to just chow down on hot dogs and little Smokies and maybe some of the other choices that you don't necessarily make anymore.
Yeah, right. I may have them every once in a while, but I don't do that. But those are foods that
they're filler foods. They don't make up the full chunk of your diet.
Right, they do.
Right.
All right, so that was the myth number 2. Number 3, you can't exercise on keto. So this is a kind of an interesting myth because you will hear that some people say that some people even recommend that when you first start keto that you don't exercise. Right. I remember reading that, hearing that from people. But as far as you can't exercise, that's not true.
Exercise is pretty much beneficial for just about anybody.
Exercise will be beneficial no matter what you're doing, and
it might be more difficult when you first start out with keto because you might not have as much energy.
Because your body's making an adjustment. Because again, don't forget keto. When you start keto, your body basically you've been a carb burner,
sugar burner
for forever, and now you're switching over to a different fuel. So yeah, you may have difficulty performing exercise initially when you start keto, but
everybody's adapting time will be different.
but that changes as you go along. So, but the myth that you can't exercise on keto is totally false. I know of a keto group on Facebook, pretty large community. Keto Gains.
Yeah, they're very popular.
And these folks are serious, hardcore weightlifters, and they're doing keto.
Well, and a lot of people like, Ironman champions, MMA fighters, a lot of those people are going to a ketogenic diet, Olympic athletes.
Right.
And and changing over to the ketogenic lifestyle and finding out that they do much better.
Right,
They don't need to carb load anymore.
Right, it's much more efficient. It's and that actually kind of leads into the next one. The next myth is you'll lose muscle mass on keto,
which is also not true.
Which is not true, but that kind of ties in with what you just
we're
said.
Talking about
is that a lot of athletes are realizing and being pointed toward keto as a way to live and to train and to eat, because they
not
are
just
finding,
for muscle building but strength.
Right,
too.
they are finding that it's more efficient, that it is better for their bodies, and these are people who get paid to be athletes.
Right.
These are not. I'm not talking about just me and you trying to.
But where this is their lifestyle. This is what they do. Yeah.
Right. We found an article, I think it was last year, even talking about LeBron James.
Lots of people follow the ketogenic lifestyle.
Has done keto and it was super. They may not do it all the time.
I think for a certain amount of time, their trainer was using it for several athletes on the team.
Yeah.
With success.
Yeah.
So
again, that myth, the myth number 3 was you can't exercise on keto. So that's debunked.
Right.
But then you will lose muscle mass, which is number 4.
And that's definitely not true.
Yeah,
and in fact, your body composition will change. So a lot of times people get frustrated because they're not seeing scale weight go down.
Right.
And sometimes you can have like an evening out of, because muscle and fat weigh the same, but they take up less space. So if you look at a pound of fat, say a pound of butter versus a pound of muscle, it's much, much smaller, although it will still weigh the same. So your body composition can change on the ketogenic diet. You may be building muscle as you're losing fat. So sometimes the scale is not the best way to represent what's actually taking place.
You're a perfect example of that. Sarah did her kind of before and after and progress pictures, and I think your weight at the time when we did that wasn't really quote unquote low.
Right. I mean, I've lost 60 pounds, but I have gone down in 6 or 7 sizes.
Yeah, you're like at size 8 now or something?
So your body can still shrink and your weight can stay the same, and that is just the recompositioning of your muscle. So it doesn't mean your muscle has gone away. It's just changed and gotten better, and your body will shape in a different way than ever before on this lifestyle. Because I've lost weight several times, a significant amount of weight several times in my life, but my body has never created a composition like it has on the ketogenic diet. Right. So bottom line, exercise is good for everyone. Do you have to exercise on the ketogenic diet? No, you do not. You do not. But it can also help push you into reaching a higher level of fitness, or can help firm up what you have. It's still good for your basal metabolic rate. It's it's great for your metabolism, your bone density, mental health, all kinds of things.
There's a lot of benefits to exercise.
There's not a bad reason to exercise.
Right. And if you're new to exercise, you do what you can do. Just start moving.
Because your recovery takes some extra time to recover. A lot of your fitness experts that are on board with keto say that maybe don't do things that are like super long endurance, like don't jump on the treadmill and try and go for an hour. High intensity interval training, things like that are a lot better, where it's a little harder maybe, but a little faster, and then give yourself maybe extra time to recover, maybe an extra day or something like that. Just especially when your body is getting used to burning your own body fat for fuel instead of glucose.
All right. So myth number 5 is there is no alcohol on keto. So I'm going to let Sarah talk about this.
The alcoholic over here, is that what you're saying?
You're not an alcoholic,
no.
But I don't drink that much. So
I drink.
And she doesn't drink that much either.
Yeah,
so
I don't drink that often.
It's not
I used to drink more often, definitely, than I do now, but I will occasionally still drink socially. And as far as the ketogenic diet, I think Dr. Ken Berry just posted a video about alcohol on the ketogenic diet.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
And of course, it's like everything else with keto. Everyone has what they think are the rules, and you know, we're hard and fast, definitely don't drink it, you're okay. But for the most part, alcohol is allowed on the ketogenic diet. Of course, your liver is going to burn the alcohol before it burns anything else. So a lot of times it can put your ketosis on pause. So, you know, that is a choice that you might need to make, you know. Additionally, not all alcohol is created equal. So for the ketogenic diet, things like beer and sweet wines have a lot more carbs and a lot more sugar in them, so they're not generally recommended. Generally, it's recommended that you drink clear liquor, so we're talking vodka, rum, whiskey, gin, and you have to be aware of your mixers. So your mixers should be sugar-free, things like seltzer, Zevia. Of course, you could do diet soda if you're at a bar, because they're not going to give you Zevia.
There's videos on YouTube about
definitely.
keto alcohol mixes.
Yes, and you definitely have to be aware of anything flavored, like if you know, coconut rum, or a lot of your vodkas have flavoring in them, and all of them are different. So you could take like a raspberry vodka and a citrus vodka, and one might have 1 or 2 carbs, and one might have 7. It all depends on how sweet they are. But most alcohol companies have all of their nutritional information on their websites, and also MyFitnessPal is also a good place to check to see how many carbs are in a particular brand of alcohol. So you can have it. You can also have low sugar wines, things like dark reds and dry whites.
I'm going to say a drier.
Yeah, so things like Chardonnay, Merlot, when you taste it, it's not very sweet. Things that are dry usually have a much lower sugar content.
Right.
So all you have to do is Google, you know, low carb wines, and you know, but you still are looking at 2 to 3 carbs a glass versus no carbs for a hard alcohol. But like I said, just because there's no carbs, your body is still going to take a pause from ketosis and from burning fat to burn the alcohol. And then it will go back to burning the fat. So it has to be a personal choice. Additionally, when you are on the ketogenic diet, your reaction to alcohol might be different. You might react more strongly to alcohol or less strongly to alcohol. So
you've got to
definitely be aware of
it.
Something might hit you much more hard than it did when you were a carb eater.
Right.
So.
And I think we were also reading that if you're going to drink,
yes,
and you're living keto, drink with food.
Right. Have a meal.
Have
it with a meal, or you know, have some nuts or a snack or a piece of cheese or something when you're drinking, so that it doesn't make you feel quite as crazy.
Right.
So that's a good tip.
Yep.
If you are going to drink, because sometimes it's nice to celebrate.
And
go out with your friends, because you want this to not be a diet. You want this to be a lifestyle, and we all want to socialize and
you need to
be a part.
Able to work.
Yeah.
The things that you enjoy doing into your lifestyle.
Exactly.
So that is 5 more keto myths that we have debunked or busted or challenged, whatever you want to call it. But we have got, I think, 5 more to go. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching CJ's Keto Kitchen. If you're new here, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we do new recipes every Sunday, and then we do these Keto Conversation episodes normally on Wednesdays.
Sometimes things will change based on, you know, a holiday, like we put up, you know, something different
every once in a while.
Once in a while, that rotation will change, but for the most part, that is our schedule.
Right. And so don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can share these videos with your friends and family on other social media
especially, you know, some of these myths. If someone, you know, if your family member has a question or a concern, or you know, or you would like them to start the ketogenic diet with you or be interested in it, it can be a good tool to kind of guide people to maybe some of the things they don't understand about the keto lifestyle.
And what I'll try to do this time is we did a lot of research on this, so I'll try to put some links to some of the articles that we actually use for some of this information. So again, we talk about keto stuff all the time, so this stuff is just interesting to us. And
that's why we like to have these conversations. We like to informally get together and discuss topics.
Yep. So anyway, thanks for watching, and peace.
Peace.